every time they came to me, it was in the aegis of FIMI or one or the other of the associations which had their own agenda to pursue. So we really never got down to understanding what is it that is inhibiting this whole industry per se. Today I just want to hear from all of you. While Mr. Arun Kumar has said what are the initiatives, what good stuff is happening. And FICCI is a 90-year-old organization. They've been hearing this for the last 90 years. But the harsh reality is we are nowhere in mining as a nation. We are what, 2% of the world's mining activity? We have huge amount of resources hardly exploited. In some sense, I've been expressing my unhappiness of late that India was so weak in its own ability to imagine that we can adequately provide for coal for our power plants, and therefore we have installed 83,100 megawatt of imported coal-based thermal power plants, partially or almost many cases fully imported coal base, and they're all suffering today. Sadly, 10 years, 15 years back, if we could have thought, let's try to push and become self-sufficient, this situation wouldn't have been there. So we have in effect caused the nation a liability to continue to import 1 lakh crore worth of coal for the next 25 years. And the coal in India will remain below the ground. I don't know how many more years before it gets fossilized, literally, or dinosaurized or whatever. And the same could happen with many other minerals. With changing technologies, changing product designs, one doesn't know how long this industry or a particular industry is going to continue to be used. And God knows if somebody comes out with a better alternative to iron ore tomorrow. Already we are hearing of cars moving towards plastics. And who knows that some new technologies may bring out some product through 3D manufacturing or something, and we find some more minerals becoming redundant. God knows, I really don't know. So as a nation, we need to reflect whether we are really achieving something good, big enough to satisfy the needs of 1 billion plus people. Can we aim for something which is game-changing, something which is dramatically different from the past? Statistically and all, we may be doing very well. I'm told we've grown 8.5% in volume, 17% in value. Of course, that's a very disturbing thing, which means there's a 10% inflation. Technically, that's the only way you can do that. But the reality is that that's not what this country can be satisfied with. So I wish, and I believe there's a longer program even after I've gone away, but I wish you would reflect. It's very nice to have reports and way forward and all. Reflect on what is wrong in our system, in the government system. While I'm personally myself very keen that everything should be transparent, auction, blah, blah. But now I'm realizing that on exploration, while I would like to do maybe 100 times faster exploration, the detriment is that because of the auction process being only after exploration, the private sector has almost disappeared from the exploration activity. So we only have MECL and Geological Survey of India doing exploration in the country today. But we have a law which is in the country. Can we examine ways in which we can speed up this exploration? Can we work together with the mining industry and create some entities? Can we look even at a public-private partnership to make exploration happen faster? What needs to be done? What is the prioritization of minerals? Is there any way we can know where are the gold reserves? I'm told gold imports have literally doubled this year. All of 2016 it was 510 tons. 17, it's 521 tons January to June itself. It's a serious issue. Of course, there could be an element of smuggling also reducing with the fear after demonetization, GST coming in, value getting captured, PAN card becoming compulsory. All of these are good steps in national interest that Prime Minister Modi has initiated and is very, very focused on. He wants to make this country an honest country to live in and work in. That will also mean the mining industry will have to adapt to this change. I mean, we need not beat around the bush. We all know what are the evils of the mining industry for the last 100 years. The conditions of mining, the conditions of labor in mining, technology levels in mining, the inefficient mining, all of that is a matter of record, a matter of fact. We need not beat around the bush all the time. Let's see what we can do differently in the future. So I believe I'm told most of you are from the mining industry who are in this room. How many of you are the right side of 40 years old? Now, come on, I don't have to specify what's the right side of 40.
Below 40 plus is also a right side.
Now, you are the righter side. I only want to know the poor little kids in the room. Madam, you are below 40, right? Can you put up your hand or are you so hesitant? Quite a lot. And you have some serious interest on mining? Can I assume that? Or have you just come in to fill up the room so Fiki doesn't have a empty room when a minister comes? So Didarji, find out who are those below 40 in the mining industry. Get them into a room for the next 3 days or whenever you can at the earliest opportunity. Get them to sit down. And let them come out with a position paper. With due respect to KPMG and all the effort that's gone into this, I want to know what the youngsters feel can be done to transform the mining sector. And if they need any help, any data, any secretarial assistance, any governmental inputs on the legal framework or anything, we'll ensure that the ministry provides that. But at the earliest available opportunity, and you know me, I prefer if it can start today afternoon.
It will start. Everybody who's below 40, just register with Arpan here. Just give your name and we'll request.
Is Arpan below 40?
Yes, sir. He is.
So you be the secretary of this group. No, on a serious note, we really need to think differently. थोड़ा out of the box thinking की आवश्यकता है इस फील्ड में. बहुत steady state progress सा चल रहा है बहुत सालों से. So that's the only one thing that I wanted to say. The rest I want to hear from all of you, even from the writer side of the 40. Well, with your long years and experience in this industry, where are we going wrong? Forget the past. Where are we going wrong? And what we can do to have a quantum jump in an efficient and effective manner. Not through illegal mining, not through bad labor practices and all of that. How can we bring productivity into this system? How can we bring in quantum leap in our mining activities? Honestly, that's what I'd like to hear from all of you. Thank you. I have lots of things. I can speak till the cows come home. Those of you who have attended my functions know that. So I'll rather keep quiet and I want to hear from all of you.
Thank you. Very provocative and lucid way of stimulating the minds, A wonderful stimulating dose to all of us, the mining industry. And I totally agree with the Honorable Minister that new thought process, new mind should come, should churn. With this, on behalf of the FICCI and the Binding Committee, since I chair this committee, I have the onerous responsibility of speaking our mind very frankly and openly. So may I request all the members here, all are here, if you can come forward and if you can ask your questions, clarifications, something like that, and suggestions, okay, let me correct that. Honorable Minister has kindly agreed to listen to that and he will give his own opinion on that. To structure that, what my suggestion is that if you can raise your hand and we'll club together, maybe seeing the time, we may have to restrict the suggestions come questions, few numbers. So we'll structure such a way that individual may ask maybe one or two questions and we'll club in one shot. Then we'll request Honorable Minister, or if the Honorable Minister desire, then Honorable Secretary, both from Ministry of Mines and Steel, they may come up and respond. To that, the first, may I request from the industry, Mr. Rahul Baldota.
Sir, good morning. Thank you so much. Sir, really appreciate your thoughts. Sir, I would like to take that a little forward. So when the new act and rules came, the major concentration of the government was, on minerals which were now been notified, like iron ore, coal, limestone. But what has not been thought about in detail was the other minerals, like, the base metals, the technology metals, the critical minerals. So what has happened in the process is that the exploration, as you rightly said, has taken a back seat. And if you see the Part B minerals of the Act, there is no private sector participation allowed for exploration at all in this mineral, sir. So, which was there earlier, has actually now got out of it has become the domain of only the government to do the exploration of Part B minerals. So our request is, if Part B minerals also can be allowed for exploration by the private sector. And sir, the earlier scheme which allowed a reconnaissance permit, if that can be allowed exclusively, not a non-exclusive, followed by an auction, is fine. I mean, transparency through auction is acceptable to us, sir. But please allow a reconnaissance permit, only then the new areas will come out, is one request from our side, sir.
Yeah. On the particular, if you have any question on that, we can club together on the particular topic of other main mineral, Part B mineral, like whether you have the rare earth, the big sand. I'm just
lithium.
Yeah, I
there's
could.
so many.
Any question on that?
No
Okay,
question
please.
on this, but
Please introduce yourself.
I'm Colonel Harmeet Singh Sethi. I'm from the Dalmia Group, and start point obviously is that as a group we are adapting to change, whatever the government of India has decided very clearly. And I would like to put it on record, like the Honorable Secretary said, that 1,22,000 crores is what is likely to come. We have committed 20,000 crores toward that, and we've already got 3 bids. We've already taken part in that, and we bid for that. So we are serious players, and we think that we should come into the world environment very clearly. So areas which can assist and support in moving towards that, I'm just tagging 3 points. There are many, but I think for the space of time, I'll just tag 3 of them. One issue very clearly is that the government is in its effort to put transparency in place, has done the right thing. The transfer of mines is an issue which has not been clear till now, because if a group which is having 10 mines and is wanting to consolidate that and create a larger company and move forward, why should there be transfer law? This is going to hold it back. So this is something which we request should be studied for the larger community. That is one point. I leave it that we've sent enough representations. The second part is the stamp duties which are done when mines are auctioned and given, and also pre-auction mines. In a state, you will end up paying 10 crore rupees. I'm just giving a broad figure. In another state, you'll end up paying 200 crore rupees. I mean, how can it happen? We are in the same country. There can be a difference of 10 crore, 15 crore, 20 crore. It cannot be 10 times, 20 times. The stamp duty rules and regulations are very clear on this subject. But somehow, we've also represented on this. It is not only for us, it's for the large industry, and then only the industry can, at least the larger players can grow on this. The third,
I think you have restrict here. Or last sort.
last point, so nothing else. It's again for the industry, not
okay.
primarily for the Dalmia Group. It is also that when IBM, whenever auctions are happening, the prices are being set by IBM, which is the right thing to do, nothing wrong in that. But in all examples, whatever happens is that the outlier is always left out. This is not happening. For example, in the limestone industry, the price of limestone ranging in the range of 500 rupees. Why? Because there is one mine in this country, one mine, and which is also on the Supreme Court orders, has to send limestone from India to Bangladesh. I'm not leaving the company. And therefore, the price of that mine goes up, and that constitutes 30% of the cost of the limestone price. This is incorrect. I think this affects the entire industry.
This is the royalties fixed on this price by IBM? What is fixed by on this basis of the outlier?
The price of limestone is fixed by IBM. So the price is fixed by taking an average of sale for the entire year.
What is this price being used for?
That is really for the upfront fees, one part.
Because the limestone mines has gone less than 40-50% on top of that.
Yes, sir.
So how does it matter? Even if that outlier is making the price high,
Sir.
how does it matter when in the auction it's discovering a much bigger value?
I think the start point.
स्टार्ट पॉइंट ज्यादा हो कम, अगर स्टार्ट पॉइंट ज्यादा और कोई बिडर ही नहीं आए तो मैं समझ सकता हूँ. सोच लीजिए. But other 2 points are valid. Of course, states का I'll have to have a conversation with some states. एक जरा फिकी मुझे बात करके सबसे state wise what are the different levies एक बनवा दे, हम भी अपने तरफ से बनवाएं. We can match the two and then we'll talk to some of the outlier states there.
I think we'll go
Think
to
it over. अगर ये IBM pricing को तंग कर रही है जिसकी वजह से कोई किसको तकलीफ हो रही है, तो मैं I'm ready to look at that outlier.
One guy under 40 who can answer this question, sir.
बोलो भाई, who's that?
Please.
Press the right button.
Basically, this mines is paying some environmental duty which is jacking up the sale price. And the prices which are published by IBM, it is not only for the auction purposes, sir. These prices are viewed by the entire world, sir, for making any greenfield investment. If the prices are so high, sir, in fact, your FDI is going to be
और क्या?
Sir, these are not only the prices from the auctions are, it is not that only auctions are affected. These forms are basic prices for, making a greenfield investment. All financial modelings are done based on these figures only, sir.
Cement industry is charging an arm and a leg. वो गडकरी जी का भाषण नहीं सुना लगता है आपने. तो limestone के लिए तो I don't think कोई मतलब merit दिखता नहीं है prima facie मुझे. In any case, I just saw the auction prices. Except for one mine which Penna Cement got at 8%, everybody else is at very high prices
No, agreed, sir. That is there.
of
But
auction value, percentage value. Anyway, if there's something more to it, let me know. और कोई point लेते.
I think, sir, I think we started with the exploration part. Any question on that?
Yeah, exploration. How do we kickstart exploration?
Anything on the exploration? I would like to club. Please.
This is, sir, good morning, sir. This is Savik Majumdar from Vedanta Sesa. Sir, very heartening to know that now at India government level, we are talking about production increase. We are talking about 40%, 50% production increase of all minerals, which till recently it was seen as a sort of, something bad, doing more production. Also very heartening to know that you have really hit the nail by saying that all of a sudden the explorers, the actual people who knows the exploration, they have got vanished. Now if we look at our present system, what has happened is earlier was a system is there, now we have moved into a very progressive system, but whilst doing so, maybe certain changes what is required is, say for example today what is happening is, today the government is doing the exploration that is coming from G4 level to G3 level, and G3 level we are giving PL cum ML, and then government is doing further exploration and directly going for the ML route for up to G2 level of UNFC classification. With that what is happening, lot of time is getting blocked, number one, and number two, the expertise. So in order to come out from there, I mean what we as the industry feel that can we do something what maybe the oil industry has done. which is basically OALP, Open Acreages Licensing Policy, wherein at G4 level itself, the industry is inviting people, going for the bid, people are bidding and coming with the sort of, first is the G4 to G3 level of exploration, and at G3 level of exploration, further bidding, and whosoever takes it, and then takes it forward from G3 to G2 to G1. So with this, perhaps, a sort of, the entire acceleration will come up in this sector. That is number one, in exploration. In fact, I have got a paper also which I am presenting on this, sir, today, late in the morning. And we believe that this will really galvanize the entire sector, wherein the government will do what? Government will basically do what you call is obvious geological potential. Sir, I'll give you only one thing. Today, as per GSI, we have got 5,75,000 square kilometer under OGP. That is obvious geological potential. Out of this OGP, only 10%, that is around 54,000 square kilometer, is under mining. So what country needs? Country need basically the entire 100% of OGP to come onto the exploration and mining immediately in next maybe 2 to 3 years time. Now how we can do it? That cannot be done if government is doing the way it is done today, that the government agencies are going for, exploring from G4 to G3 to G2, and then some minerals are going directly in ML route, some minerals are going in PL and ML route. If we open this entire 5,75,000 kilometer by saying that open bidding, let the industry come, let the people come, do the preliminary exploration, as simple as, OALP, open acreages, and then do the reconnaissance, go for G3, and then go to the...
What the people tell us is that the private sector will only do exploration if they are allowed to mine the product that they find after exploration. Whereas the law as it stands says that we can give you the mine, whether by auction, bidding or any process. There we are not very finicky because it's a contractual work. To do the exploration up to a certain level, whichever level he will tell you, after that, once we have a fair idea of what is the mineral there, then only we are allowed to auction for you to do further processing and mining the mineral. Problem is that in the past, all these used to be given away almost free.
That's right.
Even if we auction it along with the mining rights, we will not get any value because it's a risk. Nobody is going to pay for that risk. They'll say we are spending money, that itself is the value of our risk. But the reality is that 29 mines that we have auctioned, as he said, is going to give government an additional revenue of 93,000 crores, which was otherwise the profit of these mining companies, including yours. Right? So in effect, wealth, and we don't mind you make good profit, you make a fair profit, but you cannot have a situation where the nation's mineral resources only go to fill the pockets of a certain set of companies and not to serve the poor of this country. Which is why we thought it's important to have the mineral tagged to a certain level, explored to a certain level. Once that level is known, then the Dalmias paid 20,000 crores as he just now announced to us. Otherwise, they would have all got these mines free of charge, and that was an additional profit of the Dalmias. Sorry, my friend, you're just becoming a scapegoat in the example. You get my point?
Yeah, absolutely, sir.
That 20,000 now will go to serve some poor family, some farmer, people for years who have suffered, like Angul. Angul, I'm told, poverty has fallen thanks to all these Talcher mines and all, from 67% to 25% in the last 10-12 years. Expected to go down to 5% BPL families in the next 5-7 years. That's what the data was given to me.
That's absolutely correct, sir, and it has to happen like this only. I mean, we also, all the industry feels that.
So
this has
you
to
tell
happen
me,
like
if we bid out for exploration, is the industry ready? We are very keen, but I was told that nobody is coming forward to take exploration work.
Sir,
and we have also kept a share of, additional profit or something for the exploration. So we can keep that.
Yeah, sir, what happens in OALP,
Let
sir?
this young team come up with a proposal. What will excite people to take up exploration contract so that even if they explore and find some mineral, they'll get some share of whatever comes out of that
Exactly.
exploration.
That is what exactly in OLLP says, that only 5 or 4 basic point is given for the people who brings it from G4 to G3 level.
Let's see what he has
That's
to
it.
add.
You see, OLP has come in. It's a welcome thing. It is for the oil sector. Now, if you look at, there is a great difference between the oil and the mineral sector. They have identified only 10 basins in the country. Their minimum block of 10 minute into 10 minute is 350 square kilometers. So that is a the level of risk on oil is much, much higher than on minerals. So therefore both the systems cannot be compared off the hook, and we will be hard put to explain the things which I am saying from the dais when people from the other side start saying that did you not know these differences. Having said that, we are conscious of OLP. As we speak today, our 4-member team has gone over to the Petroleum Ministry today to understand if we can get some learnings from there. So it is not that I am debunking that system, but any miner in this room will know what is the difference between petroleum and natural gas exploration and mineral exploration. So let us not jump to those conclusions. We will study the system and we will see, and we are also arranging a presentation by Ministry of Petroleum and Natural Gas tomorrow to some of the miners who have bid out. So we are not closed, but there are clear-cut differences.
Yes,
we
sir.
have to
Thank you.
acknowledge that. Number one. Number two, on the issue of what Mr. Baldota said, that we go on, the other minerals have been kept out of the Part B minerals, as you say, or the non-notified minerals have been kept out of this. We have had internal discussions, and in minutes we have recorded for those minerals we will not go to G2. We will insist on auctions from PL to ML stage, so that leaves a window of exploration and does not burden government agencies to go to G2. So I fully recognize that this is not an ideal solution. This is a halfway solution. And as I said, we are having a meeting tomorrow, and the bidders are welcome to give their suggestions. But on our own, we have made it very clear that government, at least the government of India, will not support G2 level exploration in non-notified minerals. To some extent, I think maybe I have addressed the concerns, but we will go forward and learn from your suggestions.
Anything more on exploration?
Anybody express among that side?
On exploration, I think some of the best, kind of mineral exploration that has occurred in the world is through what we call as mining juniors. These are, small groups of technical experts who know a particular kind of a mineral very well, and they go and search and bring out that mineral. We have never had that model. So there are brilliant people who know about a particular product, and they are not encouraged to take up small scale, kind of exploration of a specific mineral. And most of the exploration is an add-on of large companies for whom it's not very exciting. I think we need, if you see a lot of Canadian, mineral exploration has happened through very small companies, and even some of the, like new copper mines that have been, discovered in India.
So the difference, what I'm understanding is, these juniors go only where after they discover a metal or a mineral, they get the mineral.
No. They have a good geological knowledge.
I'll just clarify the point. You see, juniors are very important, and let me also, let us not talk about systems which are not even in India in the old winner-takes-all system. Juniors did not explore in India because of various difficulties, even in the pre-2015 model. You agree? So the juniors come for a pot of gold at the end of the day. Once they establish something, they sell it off to a major miner. Now, it's a windfall scenario under which they operate. I do not discount their value, but we will try and work out, as I said, a system which attracts them. But even in the pre-auction time, juniors never came to India. So let us keep that in mind.
Maybe, Mr. Kumar, but what we can do is, the idea is good.
So we will do that.
Can we organize that next month?
Sir.
Fiki kar le. I'm happy if you do it. Let's get 20, 40, 50 sets of juniors to come to India. Let's talk to all of them and understand what they want, what we can do within the legal framework, how we can match their expectation and our requirement. If we can get 40, 50 sets of these young or whatever juniors, as you call them,
may I add,
to
sir?
come to India, let's try and do that. I'm open to it. Do आप listing वगैरह करने में आप लोग मदद करिए, where we can get lists of people who should be invited. Focus only on such companies which are in exploration. Nobody else. Only exploration companies. Junior or senior or कोई भी हो, no problem.
May I?
Who's that?
One. Yeah. Sir, this junior mining as a concept, Mr. Arun Kumar is absolutely right. They take the risk. The biggest risk in exploration is out of 100, they may succeed in 1 or 2. And then they try to sell that right. So unless that right is going to be possible in India.
Not possible.
I don't think we should invite 40, 50 people. Sorry for saying this, sir. We will unnecessarily up the ante as if we are going to change our rules and regulations to allow that to happen. It's a big risk in the world. Junior miners, they will be tempted to think that they will come here and they will make the presentations or how
He seems to disagree with that.
Absolutely, sir. I can debate that.
Yeah, you all debated after I left.
Yeah, sure. All I'm saying is, if we invite junior miners and not do
Okay,
anything
you all
about
debated after I left, and Arunji, you take a final call.
Yeah.
Let's hear from some others.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, I'm Tirthur from the Council on Energy, Environment and Water. So we are a policy research think tank based in New Delhi.
I know that.
Recently, my question is to you is, are you looking at a framework which prioritizes the minerals, especially strategic and critical minerals?
Yeah. From the day one I became minister, I've been saying we need high value and import substitution minerals first. That should be, it's a very logical thing. It doesn't need rocket science to understand.
So, but if you look at the current, our country's targeting to promote only EV cells post 2030, it will require a certain amount of lithium, which is more than the total world's production right now. So, I mean, what I meant to say, we have done a study way back in 2016, and which identifies a set of critical minerals, but we think that this kind of study needs to be institutionalized, a regular research has to be done on kind of framework, and policies have to be updated on that recommendations. Thank you, sir.
I want to just a very small question, please. Very small. Mr. Mukherjee, very small. My name is Om Prakash Gupta. I am an independent consultant in mining and minerals. I want to know, either from Secretary or from Minister, what are the revival plans for the BGML, the gold mines? Have they got any plans to revive these mines, BGML?
Not at all, not at all. Inka jawab dijiye.
You see, the minister, I must say, has been saying from day one that we need to focus on high value minerals and strategic minerals. Now, what has been happening over a period of time is that we have been, we have been going for the bread and butter minerals like iron ore and limestone. And that is why those auctions are coming on stream now. But I assure you that we will be looking for this change. In fact, I have, with the approval of the minister, instructed DGSI and GSI to plan for a shift of emphasis, which will be quantified, because I can keep saying shift of emphasis, which will be quantified and be rolled out, because our present reserves and resources of iron ore and limestone, manganese and others, are enough to take us past at least 20-25 years. So there will be a shift, and it will be documented, and it will be available in the public domain. Minister has already given us directions, and we will work to it.
Any new point?
Thank you so much, sir. Sir, since we are going progressively, all areas where we talk about maybe amendments and all these are required.
My name is Harsh Pathak. I'm just a consul for mines in India and overseas as well. So I just have few points, I think, which we can answer. These are the areas which are pending in the court or somewhere. So if these things can be answered, I think a lot of area will be available. So number one is on 10A2C, where the last date of execution.
यार वो सब आप बाद में टेक्निकल चीजें बात करें एक्सप्लोरेशन वगैरह के कुछ आइडियाज हैं
Sir, I've got one point, sir, only.
Sir, normally we are finding that you are notifying all the auction notifications are there for mining leases. If we see for limestone, 36 blocks were notified. Out of that, only 3 were for the composite license. So state should notify more and more of composite licenses, not of mining leases. See, some of the blocks which were worth for CL, but those were notified as ML only. And not even 5% is notified as a CL, you see.
No, as I said, you see, notified minerals, which are bulk minerals, easily explorable. You know, that was the point which Mr. Baldota was making. We will tend to go for a ML notification. Other minerals which are base metals, which we were also going for ML. We have decided from the government we will not support ML, we will support PL cum ML. Otherwise, as Honorable Minister said, you will not, if you do a limestone block with PL cum ML, you will certainly not get the bids which you are getting. Which, if I use again Mr. Dalmia's representative's case, you will not get with a limestone. If those limestone blocks had PL cum ML, you will end up with less than 10,000.
So I think you can make it right, you will definitely get the bids.
No, we will get bids, but we will get low bids. You see, if you place a car and you don't say what is the mileage the car is on and it's a second-hand car, people will bid with that it is already done 3 lakhs on the odometer. It's as simple as that.
I think.
Sir, I'm J.K. Bhalla, having worked in Geological Survey of India for almost 32 years. And after that, for about 12 years in hydrocarbon. I've been part of the mapping programs and mineral exploration programs, laboratory programs, etc., as far as GSA is concerned. Now, what I wanted to say was that the data that baseline data that GSI collected, that program finished in 1991 or so. That data was collected starting from early 50s to late 90s. Later on, that mapping has never been updated in spite of the recommendations of many committees. Now what is happening is that from a grossly insufficient surface and unsurfaced data, we have chalked out an OGP area, which again, if you update the data, even that may have to be revised. At least some areas will go out, and many of the areas which have not been included in the OGP may go out. I know that program, how it happened. Now lately, as the minister...
Can you switch off that mic?
Is it audible, sir?
Yeah.
Now, you have taken up, I think, airborne magnetic survey. I don't know why gravity survey has not been taken up with that, but that is a different point altogether. There was an EMGS program also with that. In the OGP area, I think that program was also there. Now, as far as the acquisition of this data is concerned, the processing of data, there will be no problem. We will be interpreting this hugely costly data on the basis of the ground truth, which is very insufficient. So what I would like to say is that I think the last mapping, systematic mapping, was taken in 1991. This has to be updated on a larger scale, not on 1:50,000. Yeah.
Good morning, sir. I'm Dheeraj Kumar. I'm from Vedanta. So I just wanted to ask one thing. There should be some sort of relaxation for carrying out exploration activities in forest area. In terms of the statute, current statute provision says that only 3 holes can be drilled in 1 square kilometer area. So this is limiting the true potential of exploring that mineral wealth of that area, and it takes time for taking the forest clearance and everything.
Good point. I have a related question. Now,
Representing what?
I'm sorry, my name is Dr. Naidu. I'm representing Mine Laborers Campaign, Protection Campaign, MLPC it's this, from Jodhpur, Rajasthan. For example, we've been talking a lot about steel and other industries. We've been speaking a lot about steel and other industries, but stone minerals in Rajasthan and India is about 130 billion US dollars. Dollar industry based on about 40% accountability, that is. It also employs about 30 lakh workers, 333,517 mines and lease. So my point is, all this progress that we're talking about, 65% increase in export and 15% reduction, who is it for? And what is the cost, human cost? Now, you asked the question, how do we make it better? How do we have an inclusive growth? So my suggestion, or our suggestion, would be to enforcement of the labor laws. That's where the biggest gap is. Second is adequate representation of mine workers in the DMFT and a gender-responsive budgeting. That will be the third point. Corporate due diligence, which seems to be non-existent, right? And regular inspections and NGO ad hoc monitoring and evaluation. Those would be my points.
उसको मॉनिटरिंग दे दिया तो जो थोड़ा बहुत देश में हो रहा है वो भी बंद हो जाएगा.
Fine, let's leave out the NGOs.
Please stay out of our system.
Let's leave out the NGOs. We can have mine workers representation.
Yeah, just stick to your ideas.
Sir.
Don't get into enforcement.
Okay, sir, can I add, sir? Hello. Sir, can I add something? Sir, we are proposing, क्योंकि DMF का जो notification है, उसमें एक अच्छा ऑप्शन हो सकता है क्योंकि सेंट्रल का हाथ में जुरिडिक्शन है माइन वर्कर्स का एनफोर्समेंट, स्टेट के हाथ में नहीं है. इसीलिए कहीं कहीं पे माइनिंग में वर्कर्स की स्थिति एनफोर्समेंट सेंटर के हाथ में है माइनिंग में. दैट इज द ओनली प्रॉब्लम हियर सर, क्योंकि स्टेट माइनिंग दे रही है पर उसका लेबर एनफोर्समेंट जो है वो सेंटर के हाथ में है. आज आप मौजूद हैं और सेक्रेटरी साहब मौजूद हैं, तो हम लोग प्रपोज करते हैं सर कि यदि डीएमएफ के अंदर में माइन वर्कर्स का एक वेलफेयर बोर्ड हो सके तो शायद पूरे देश में माइन वर्कर्स की जो प्रॉब्लम्स है उसको सॉर्ट आउट हो पाएगा.
We'll talk to the Labour Ministry. It's a good idea. We should allow the states to enforce these laws. Because DGMS is a very thin organization. We'll not be able to do it.
बिल्कुल एनफोर्समेंट में प्रॉब्लम इसीलिए आ रहा है सर, और जो मैं आप लोग से प्रपोज कर रहा हूँ ये आपके डेस्क पे ही हो पाएगा. दैट इज
गुड आइडिया.
माइन वर्कर्स वेलफेयर बोर्ड सर, ये स्टेट लेवल पे नहीं हो पाएगा, ये आपके डेस्क पे ही हो पाएगा सर. थैंक यू.
It's a good point.
Thank you.
Yeah. But anything more you'll have, this young team is going to work on it.
Sir, I'm just announcing at 3:30 today, please register with Arpan. There'll be a special session as Minister desires for everybody under 40. You will have a special round table right here at 3:30 today. Please register with Arpan.
Voluntarily, and nothing compulsory.
Yeah.
Sir, may I, sir? One last point. Yeah.
Just concluding remarks by Tohinji. Thank you.
By the way, we just formed a committee to look at auction rules also, to try and simplify that. Your point on mergers and all is referred to the Law Ministry. I've requested Secretary to pursue it faster. I fully agree with you. If the economic interest is not largely changing, just bear in mind it cannot be a mirror image. When you're merging 4, 5, 10 companies or 2 companies also, don't insist on an exact mirror image as long as the basic ownership remains the same. Talk to law, take some advice. If we're required to make some new rules for that, let's make it. But we have to simplify the whole process. We can't be 97 out of 104 in attractiveness to invest in mining. It's a matter of shame for all of us collectively, including me. I hold myself culpable and responsible for that. So really what this team of under 40 should focus on, see what are the various parameters on which the attractiveness to invest in mining is calculated. Why are we 97 out of 104? Why are we not 9 out of 104? And let's look, I'm willing to change the rules, laws, whatever is required, without compromising on transparency. Just one single, I have only one request, the rest I can accept any number of requests. Transparency, compromise नहीं करूँगा, corruption वापस इस system में आने नहीं देना. बहुत साल से देश ने उम्मीद में बैठे हुए थे कि एक ईमानदार व्यवस्था बने. उसको compromise करने के बगैर, whatever suggestions you do, I'm game for that. Yeah? But we have to get this attractiveness back in this system. private sector or any investor makes profit, I welcome that. Because after all, risk-reward ratio should be maintained. If somebody is taking a risk, tomorrow Dalmia has promised 20,000 crores, but if cement prices crash or an alternate is found to cement, then obviously they're going to be in serious trouble. And I hope you keep abreast with latest technologies. Fly ash is coming in a big way to replace your products, hopefully. So, but on a serious note, without compromising transparency, let's see what we need to do to really give this a big boost to this sector. Thank you.
Well, before I propose a formal vote of thanks to the honored guest today, let me give a couple of points. Sir, today's report, what FICCI Mining Committee has come out, it is primarily aiming couple of points. Number one, what will be, how do we achieve mineral security by 2030? That we have outlined. Next point, exploration activity, how do we give impetus to exploration and increasing mining contribution to the national GDP? Third point, bridging the skill gap in the mining sector, mining plus exploration together. Strengthening the state mining organizations, because the state plays a very important role in mine development. How do we strengthen that? Last but not the least, mining India, that supplies the raw material, that gives the impetus for Make in India. So mining got to be a backbone for Make in India.
Sorry, Mr. Mukherjee, one more thing for this group which is going to sit down. This time taken in the whole mining process is just too long. From the day somebody decides he wants to get into this business, till the day maybe he will finally on the ground break a coconut, I think it's just far too long. Kindly also examine where are those loose ends, how can we bring down timing. We made some beginning with getting the mining leases approved through an IBM software or something. Some things have happened, but nothing game-changing as yet. No, you make it to that committee of 40.
Okay, sir, let me, I think...
What's your age? You may also be below 40 probably. No, not yet?
I think, sir, I think there is some sort of a intuitive, what the Honorable Minister was speaking, and even the FICCI Mining Committee, which I was supposed to speak today, it covers same thing, I tell you. I'm not exaggerating. I had noted down based on FICCI Committee, the mining companies need to forgo rigid and ironclad business model and practice of the past. Become flexible and agile. Enterprise poised to pounce on opportunity, which we thought we have to get. This is the main theme. The industry needs to relook business model innovation. The first, that this group below 40, they will address this also. How do you change the entire business model of mining in India? Last 60, 65 years, that we have been doing is past. Do we have any new thought process? One point was business model innovation. Why? Earlier we were always after production growth, because this was mostly controlled on the PSUs, Coal India, NMDC, Hindustan Copper, Hindustan Zinc. We have to change to productivity. Next, asset management. Today in the so far on the PSU, we never thought of asset management. Mining today globally, key driver is asset management. How do you manage your asset? Mining country for 50 years. Large issues of land, mineral of various quality. Quality means how do you asset management? This is the key. This is the part. Now, this FICCI committee today, Honorable Minister has said plus minus 40, but we as a FICCI mining committee, we are already working on that line. Sorry, we did not put that age, but we are working on that. Now, again, I'm repeating.
Yeah, but we didn't see results for the last
70
years.
Yeah, we'll get it. So you'll get it. I will come to you. First, business model innovation will come out with a new business model. Next, how do you manage the assets for short term, long term, keeping the both opportunity and utilization. Third, governance and workforce collaborations, which you pointed out. How do you involve, my colleague, somebody has told, how do you bring all the workforce together in confidence and the governance? Because we are studying the Australian recent study, they have found out the mining companies are among the worst performers in an assessment of the corporate governance. The Australian report. And the fourth, energy and environment. All the mining companies should be proactive of addressing energy and environment through technology. This is the 4 agenda which already we have thought. This group, I can assure you, this group today we are meeting, we are working on that. We'll develop, fine-tune further and come up to you with a very concrete roadmap. Now, this is the point I wanted to bring to your notice. Now, let me propose formal vote of thanks. FICCI Mining Committee and FICCI. Sir, thank you very much for your coming here to accept our vote of proper vote of thanks. Thank you so much. We'll come back.
Put a competition between Thank you, sir.
Let me propose formal thanks to Mr. Arun Kumar. He is our leader for mining site. He has been our mining man. So thank you for your time with us. Then Mr. Abbasi also. He is also from steel, but again he's one of our guide in the mining industry. Thank you for your coming with us. And I propose thanks to all the delegates, my friends from media,